Ah.
Today's a big day. Today's a big day. I have behind me the Ozark Trail Ridge, and we reviewed it in another video and determined that it might be the best Walmart bike ever made. It's $400, has a really good balance of cost to performance. Most notably, the bike is ready for upgrades. It has all sorts of features like internal cable routing and standardized parts.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Darren. So, I bought this bike a couple years ago, and I didn't really plan on using it a whole lot. My initial thought was to spend more money on a bike and get a better quality bike, thinking it would be less maintenance and stuff like that. But when I bought this bike, around $400 at Walmart, just a couple years ago, I'm just now doing upgrades on it because stuff is failing on it. But I wasn't driving at the time, and I needed a commuter between both jobs and home. And when I went to Walmart, I came across this, and I was like, man, this is super nice bike. They stepped it up. um, I mean, I think my last mountain bike was like a mongoose or something like that. I've had quite a few bikes in my time, but um, what this bike did was spark an interest in me again. Someone who did BMX racing, freestyling, moved into mountain biking, and it's probably been over 10 years um, at the time, and ended up getting this. But I just wanted to let everybody know. I think Berm Peak was the original to start the upgrades on this particular model bike. This is I think, the original Ozark Trail. Um, I started out with obviously having to replace the pedals, and these are roughly 2 years old. Um, I got them off of Amazon for from this company called Bucklows. As you can see, I rashed them a couple times. Their spin isn't the best, but um, they do pretty well. They hold up. They're sturdy. They got a good platform. And then there was a time I was on my way home from work. I was descending down a hill, and uh, and this thing rips. Yeah, I mean, it'll get up and go, and I was going with the flow of traffic in the bike lane, and the light was green, and this guy couldn't wait for me and another car to go by for him to do his left-hand turn. He had a flashing light, but I had to squeeze the brakes hard, and what it did was, to the original 160 millimeter rotors, um, and and I it screwed up the caliper. They were just mechanical disc brakes that came with the bike, but the rotor was warped, and it had a orange hue to it, like it was that hot. It would not stop, and I just missed the car and went through the intersection. But I did the upgrades that he was talking about with the on Burn Peak with the Shimano hydraulic disc brakes. But in that video, he only replaced the front one with the 180 millimeter rotor. There's the hydraulic disc brake. Um, when I ordered it, they sent me a second one, and I was only supposed to get one, but I ended up finding a way to do 180 millimeters in the rear as well. And there's the other hydraulic disc brake. They weren't that expensive. I only paid for one, but I've been really pleased with them for the past year. So that was my second upgrade. The only thing I didn't do was reroute it through the frame. But I had this electrical tape that was pretty much the same color as the bike, so I just used that. I didn't want to bleed them and cut. I wasn't really too familiar with it at the time, and worrying about screwing it up, and then I wouldn't been able to use it, and which I needed brakes at the time. So now I have a better understanding. But when it's time to bleed them and redo them, then I'll reroute it through the frame, since I've also learned another hack to make it easier to get through. He suggested to use a magnetic magnetic thing to run it through the frame, and I've found another route, which was crinkle up some old brake wire, put it in the end, and pull it through the frame. So, and now I have a better understanding on how to bleed them and refill them. So when that time comes, I'll be able to do that. But other than that, this isn't hurting my feelings right now. I warped the original rims. These ones are some other cheap Amazon ones. I got both for $101. And they have been, I've only had them for probably 2 months now, but I've taken them through the same courses as I did with the original rims. The original rims I did convert to tubeless, and I ended up using the Kenda tires that came with it, and it seated. I think that's another thing with those tires, is a lot of people didn't know that you can seat them to use them as tubeless, and I did. For some reason, with those rims and that tires, when I was on the trail trying to do my thing, with them being tubeless, that the bike had so much play. Like, it was hard to control when you're doing speeds or doing jumps, landing, or going through rocks. It was a lot of play with, like, kind of like bouncing around. But I ended up taking them back to tubes, and I ran a leather strap on the inside of the tire, because here in Colorado they have a lot of the thorns that easily puncture. I think they're called like goat's heads or rhino heads or something. But I ran into a couple of them, and the leather strap did just fine. And it did add a little bit of weight to the bike by going back to tubes and adding the strap, but it was well worth it. The bike ended up staying well grounded. But the thing I found out with those tires is they here in Colorado, they rotted pretty easy. And so I ended up, I think those were 2.35s. And I ended up replacing them with these that I got off of Amazon. They came with the tubes. Yeah, they came with the tubes, and they're only the 2.1s, and they do okay. They do really well on the road, taking turns at a fast pace. But when you go through a little bit softer dirt, they slide, but they catch themselves. But it's still that slide where it makes you think for a second. The main reason why I thought about doing this video, other than the fact that I want to say thanks to everyone posting their videos on upgrading their Ozark Trail Ridge, is now I'm gonna need to replace the forks. These ones are clunking pretty bad. I've already taken them apart and re-greased them, but I don't think there's a long screw on the inside. The thread stripped off of a jump that I did. It was like 4 feet. And it was just on one side, so one side was doing all the work, and I took them apart, replaced that long screw, and I ended up I don't know, they're just real clunky, and I re-greased them and stuff, and they're just not. I don't. They ended up they lasted their time. Let's just put it that way. So it's time for new ones. But they've been pretty solid, and I know they're heavy. Because when you go off a jump, the first thing your bike wants to do is tilt forward. So yeah, I have the original bars still, the original hand grips. They're great still. I have the original shifter. When that goes, I'll switch it to the 12. Since the new rims that I have, they're compatible up to 12. Let's see. The same neck, the headset. That it's amazing on how fast you going down a hill. The response when you turn, it turns. There's no hesitation. There's no weirdness and stuff. So, but yeah, the name that I gave this bike was the Ozark Trail 2.0. I put that on there when I replaced the pedals, because that's when I decided, like, this is going to be my long-lasting bike. I love the comfortability of it. I just love how it rips. And I also got a sticker in the front. My little Sasquatch. I repainted this a while back with this orange. I wanted to try something else out if I was to get other parts with the colors and stuff like that, because just the gray, the two-tone gray and the black, I just needed something to make it more lively. So when I start replacing stuff, I could replace it with colors that go with that, the combination. This is my dork seat. It's a little bit bigger, but it's comfortable. I got it off of a hybrid bike, and it's nice. It's still kind of sporty, but it's bigger. But it does the job, and it's actually lighter than most. But yeah, here's another look at those tires. That's the name of them. Got them off Amazon. It came with tubes. Excuse me. Both of them came with cost 47 something. And then, like I said, the rims, both of them were $101. So painted that on there with a paint marker, DHK, for downhill killer, because it rips. So trying to I can't remember the name of them, the company of the rims, and I tried looking on Amazon where I got them, and but yeah, they come with these cool little designs on the hubs. The hubs are pretty decent. Um, what was it? I still got the original crank, and that thing, the original 9-speed, and they still work great. So, I think I'm just replacing parts as it goes, but I appreciate the people who started posting videos on YouTube to show the upgrades for the bike. It really inspired me to keep this frame and work with it. I really like it. Not a big deal. So I just like the style of it. The only thing I think I'm gonna do is go to 140 on the forks. So I'm looking around, trying to pick. I'm not trying to get some Amazon special one by like Buckalos or whatever company else that's out there, but I'm looking at some of the big gamers, so game changing ones, and go from there. But other than that, maybe some point I'll show you some of the trails around here, get the GoPro and stuff hooked up. But right now I'm just having fun with this, and have been, and ready to roll again. I mean, it's just been a really fun bike, and I'm glad I did it because, for $400, you do a couple hundred in upgrades, and then, like he said in Berm Peak, it feels more like a $1,200 bike with those upgrades, and I'm hoping these rims keep proving me right. What else? But yeah, I'll just keep continuing with the upgrades, and excited to go from there. But other than that, like I said, it's been a real fun bike and had a blast on it. I'm 45, and to have these options where you didn't have it back in the day, to do upgrades like this. So, like he also said in Berm Peak video, mountain biking is more accessible than ever, and it's proven. And right now, I'm in that transition, so I'm glad to be a part of the Ozark Trail family, and happy riding. Thank you.